You are listening to And Press Play, written and recorded by James West. Hello, and welcome back to And Press Play, and welcome to the first episode of One Take Reviews. This is where I take a classic album that usually will have sold millions of copies and I review it. I have no notes prepared. The only thing that is open on my laptop is a track listing with the writers and a lyrics page. That's all. All of this is done in, should be, one take. Now, the album that I'm reviewing today is Fleetwood Mac's Rumours, released in 1977 and is considered one of the best albums ever made. A glorious pastiche of pop, rock, kind of Californian vibe rock, a melding pot of genres. It has some more orchestral stuff, it has some nice heavy rockers in it, it has some kind of more just straightforward pop. It's a great album. Has a number, in fact, of my favourite artists on it. Now, Rumours came about due to Fleetwood Mac releasing their 10th album, Fleetwood Mac, which is the second Fleetwood Mac. Again, you need to Google it to kind of get your head around there. That went to number one in the US charts beginning in 1976. They had to record a follow-on album to that. About the time John and Christine McVie's marriage was breaking apart, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks were having an very on-off relationship. Mick Fleetwood's wife, he was having problems with because she'd already had an affair. They all relocated to California, took an awful lot of cocaine, and made probably one of the most interesting albums that, to be honest, doesn't sound dated. A lot of albums from the 70s and 80s, you can hear the dated sounds of production in them. This is not one of them. Anyhow, the album starts with Secondhand News, which is a Lindsey Buckingham song. Now, one of the great songs to start an album. It opens with this kind of just gradually increasing drum beat. It's a furious song. I mean, it starts with, I know I've got nothing to say, someone has taken my place. It's one of Buckingham's more angry songs about basically the fact that he is just secondhand news to someone anymore. He's not considered the most important person in someone's life. It's a great song. It's quite short. It's kind of one of his more prominent songs on the album. I don't mean prominent in the sense of like he's done the most for it because he wrote it. That wouldn't make sense. But kind of more as like, I think he does a lot of the instrumentation for it, not just the guitar and the vocals. It features some great backing vocals from Stevie Nicks, which is quite nice. One of the things that I will mention again for another song on this album is that listen for any song that Lindsey Buckingham writes, find a solo version of it when he does a live performance. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Secondhand News is no exception. There's a copy on, I think it's Live at the Bass Performance Hall from 2011, which, in my opinion, does improve it. It's much more fast. It's much more furious. The second song is Dreams, Stevie Nicks. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. This is kind of the yin to the yang of the album. Because Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks obviously make, or shall I say, write the predominant number of songs on the album, there's kind of two halves. Lindsey Buckingham's a bit more vicious in his takedown of Stevie. Stevie kind of writes a bit more ethereal sort of stuff. Dreams is one of them. Dreams, there's a great video on YouTube about how Dreams was made, and it really is an incredibly well put together song. It is, however, my least favourite song on the album. I don't massively like it, which is odd because I like Stevie Nicks. I think she's written some great stuff, but Dreams is, I find it a bit slow and a bit kind of bleh. It's nice enough, but to my mind, she has written plenty of better things. But it's a gorgeous, ethereal sort of musical bass, and she does a great job on it, to be fair. I just happen not to like it. Thirdly, we go to Never Going Back Again, which is Lindsey Buckingham on an acoustic guitar for 2 minutes, supposedly written about a lover he had after Stevie, about him going back to her, or shall I say, not wanting to go back to her. It's a fairly short song. It's only barely scratches 2 minutes. It goes through... It doesn't really go through a lot. It's just more about his desire not to go back to someone. He does a great job of this in live performances as well, but it's got this sort of sweet, tender notes to it, which is quite nice and quite unlike the rest of the stuff that he writes. Next, we have Don't Stop, one of my favourites. Christine McVie's first song on the album, and really, she doesn't write a bad one. Live versions of this are fast and furious. Her duet with Buckingham on it is great. And everybody knows the chorus, don't stop thinking about tomorrow. You know, yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. The lyrics are memorable, they stick out. You know, the drums are fast and furious, the guitar works great. Number 5, we hit probably one of my all-time favourite songs, Go Your Own Way, by, again, Lindsey Buckingham. You notice he pops up quite a lot in this. Go Your Own Way is a furious track about the ending of a relationship and about the only way to move on is to, well, go your own way. It's vicious, the whole packing up, shacking up line Stevie Nicks very, very much was not a fan of, because apparently it just was not true, but it's been kept in. It's one of those songs in all the live performances where they look at each other and it creates this sort of lie of their romance. I think he does, again, a better job of this solo. He does a much more furious job, although saying that is very weird watching a performance where he's not singing it, because it doesn't really hold the same vibe. But it's great. It's a fast, furious rocker. I love the production at the end with the outgoing guitar solo. It's just great. The next song is something I'm actually going to take a bit of time to discuss. This is Songbird by Christine McVie. It's an odd song for this album because it doesn't seem to go anywhere, but it's lovely. It's really, really lovely. It features just her playing a piano with a bit of acoustic strumming from Buckingham. There's a couple of reasons I like this song. Well, firstly, we'll go into the way it was produced. It was produced in a concert hall with some microphones around the piano and some kind of in the audience to create a very kind of ambience to it. And it works really well. It's also just sweet. It's the sort of song you think about when just you can't help but smile when listening to it. It's sad. It's sad, but it's sort of bittersweet with it. I mean, what is it, the chorus? And the songbirds keep singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you, like never before. Like never before. It's got a great intro with a couple of piano bars. It's got a great outro. And the piano never sits above the voice. It's always her singing that is really the standpoint of the song. And it just creates this wonderful ethereal ambience. And it's just beautiful for 3 minutes 20. It's, you know, with the exception of probably Go Your Own Way, it's my favourite song on the album. And there's really not a lot in it between them. And considering there's such radically different structures and types, it really goes to show how well Rumours gels as a melding pot of different genres. Next we hit The Chain, which is kind of the one everybody knows, you know. You Must Never Break the Chain. A song written by all members. They used razor blades to separate the tapes of the demos that, you know, Mick Fleetwood and John McVie had put together. It's very, it's got, I mean, everybody's got a writing credit on it. You know, it's known for its chorus, it's known for the outro, it's known for its great instrumentation and its, you know, repeating lyrics. Again, not one of my more favourite ones on the album. Partly, I think, the same way as Dreams, it's got that kind of overplayed vibe to it, which ain't a lot of fun, but hey-ho. The next song we go for is You Make Lovin' Fun, one I really like. It's supposedly written about McVie's affair with the lighting director. It's this great kind of pop song, which is, you know, and it's got a great chorus, and she really gives her kind of smoky alto voice a workout with, you know, You Make Lovin' Fun. But it's great because she's just really extolling the virtues of somebody else. You know, you make me happy with the things you do. And it, you know, the kind of the middle verse is one of my favourites. I never did believe in miracles, but I'm feeling it's time to try. I never did believe in the ways of magic, but I'm beginning to wonder why. I mean, you don't really get much more upbeat than that, I'd say, in the whole album, but that's why I like it. It's upbeat, it's got upbeat lyrics, but at the same time it gives you that sense of kind of living in a dream world for like the first, I don't know, month or two in a new relationship. That's kind of the very big vibe it gives. But it's great for it, which is what I like. The next song's a more of an interesting one because it's I Don't Want to Know, which is a duet between Nicks and Buckingham. What it should have been was Silver Springs, which is a song that kind of any big Fleetwood Mac fan will know. Silver Springs was a song that Stevie Nicks wrote, loved, and was never allowed on Rumours. It's an interesting song, not one of my favourites, but again, we'll probably cover that in another video. But anyway, I Don't Want to Know, a duet between Nicks and Buckingham. I like it. It's basically those two just singing on top of each other for about 3 minutes. It's not a memorable track as such, but it's got this kind of anger and bitterness, which is sort of getting on top of each other in the vocals, which I do like. You know, I Don't Want to Know the Reasons Why, Love Keeps Walking On Right Down the Line. It's kind of weird because it feels like one of them should be singing it because it's, you know, one of them should be singing it about the other, and that's not what happens. Because it's both of them singing it. So it's got that kind of weirdness to it, which I quite like. Then we go on to Oh Daddy, supposedly written about Mick Fleetwood, or for Mick Fleetwood, shall I say, by Christine McVie. It's easily, to my mind, her weakest track, but then she's up against Don't Stop, Songbird, and You Make Lovin' Fun, which are three standout ones. So it's not a surprise that this one's weaker. There's not really much to say about it. It's one of the more forgettable tracks on the album, but it's got this kind of soothing chorus with "Oh Daddy, Mommy, literally, you soothe me with your smile," which is quite nice. It's quiet, but it is nice. That's really all I can say about it. And then finally, the song that one song that everybody knows is "Gold Dust Woman," which is written about, well, cocaine addiction, because they all suffered from that at various points, didn't they? You know, got rock on, Gold Dust Woman, take your silver spoon and dig your grave. It's written about addiction. I mean, kind of obvious in the first three lines, but it's good. I think it's one of Stevie's better songs on the album. I mean, granted, yeah, it is her best song on the album for me. I like it. It's kind of got a creepy vibe to it. You know, lousy lovers pick their prey, not thy prey, but they never did cry loud. Did she make you cry, make you break down, shatter your illusions of love? You know, great images to it, which really, really work. Now, that's kind of my track by track analysis. I mean, again, Rumours as an album, you need to listen to the whole thing straight through. It doesn't sound dated. It's one of the greatest albums ever made, to my mind. While I think Fleetwood Mac did better it, I certainly believe that from just a casual listening, I don't think it will be surpassed by them. There are obviously songs that did not make it. I mean, for any big Stevie Nicks fans, if you listen to Candlebright or Planets of the Universe from Trouble in Shangri-La, both of those were demos that you can get on one of the expanded versions of Rumours. They're both two songs that were made during Rumours that didn't surface for 30 odd years. Big one that any kind of fan should really find is Silver Springs. There's a great version on The Dance, their live album from 1997. Again, not a song I particularly like, but, you know, whatever floats your boat. But no, pretty much the other thing is with Rumours is they've all kind of changed the songs over the time. I mean, Secondhand News, Never Going Back Again, Go Your Own Way are all better live to my mind. Songbird I don't think will ever be bettered because it was done in a concert hall alone, and I don't think there will ever be a better take of it. Dreams, again, I'm not a big Stevie Nicks fan for that one, so I don't know. And The Chain I'm not massively fond of, but You Make Love in Fun's usually better in a live setting as well. So to conclude, granted I've rambled for probably about 13 minutes now, this is a great album. You really need to listen to it. It's, you know, you can easily pick it up for a fiver sort of thing. It's one of those albums that you will just listen to time and time again. It still sounds fresh, it still sounds new, and it's still very, very relatable. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of me rambling, and probably a lot longer than previous episodes have been, and I hope to see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time.